Hey guys, it's Jenna Elfman from Fear the Walking Dead. I play Laura. No, I play Naomi. No, I play June. I play June on Fear the Walking Dead. And you're listening to the Fear the Walking Dead talk through on Talk Through Media.
Hey, I'm Lindsley Register, and I play Laura on The Walking Dead. You're listening to The Walking Dead talk through on Talk Through Media.
Hey, this is Ross Marquand, and you're listening to The Walking Dead talk through.
Awesome.
Hey, this is Mick Stahl, and you're listening to Fear the Walking Dead Talk Through.
Cool.
Hey survivors, welcome to episode 100 of Fear the Walking Dead Talk Through. I'm Kyle.
And I'm LT.
Woohoo!
Episode 100. Wait a minute. And in case she actually listens, as Ruthie would say, it's the centenary episode.
I don't know if she listens to us.
Well, she ought to. Anyway, 100.
I know. I can't believe it. That's crazy. But
shows you what kind of gluttons for punishment we are, because we're back again.
Oh, all right. Well, with no further ado, let's get on with the show. We will be covering Fear the Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 1, titled Remember What They Took From You. Ooh. Written by Andrew Chambliss and Ian Goldberg and directed by Michael E. Satrazemis. Description from YouTube TV was, after going undercover at Padre, Morgan and Madison find themselves back at odds, trying to do what's best for Mo while struggling to accept their new lives under the watchful eye of Padre.
Padre.
Our favorite word. Oh, all right. Well, let's get into our ratings. I basically, anyways, 5 Madison Larks. This, I know others rated it lower, but in the spirit of just having, or to being back podcasting,
yes.
Even if it's this show, that did bump my ratings up a bit.
Well, I gave it 5 out of 10, and pardon me while I put on my Gerard Butler. This is Padre! Or fear has gone to the birds.
Yep. Oh, goodness. The birds. The bird is the word. All right.
Don't you know about the bird? Everybody's heard that the bird is the word.
All right. Well, that takes us into our listeners' ratings, and our first one comes from Dieta from Detroit, and she gave it a 2 out of 5, or then she said 2 out of 10.
I'm not going to math that, but that technically should be a little higher, but hey, we'll go with it. Glennis from Toronto says 4 out of 10. What a lark. Or birds of a feather.
And Ivan from Minnesota gave it a 2 out of 10, stuck in the swamp. Oh, yes. We're all here. We can feel the pain. All right, guys. Well, then that takes us into our awesome sauce.
Let's kick it off with Dieta from Detroit, who says, time jump baby Mo is no more a baby. She is a feisty little 7 to 8 year old. Yep, no more crying. Not much covered on this episode, in my opinion. I still don't know what or who Padre is, person, place, or thing. Shrug. So is everyone working for Padre now except for Strand? I expect Strand to show up eventually with one of his monologues. And she throws in laughing faces.
Yes, I expect that too. Can't keep a good Strand down. All right, next is Glennis from Toronto, and she says, Fear the Walking Dead has become a Twitter convention with the bird names of Lark, Madison, Nightingale, Morgan, Huron, Gracie, and Wren, Mo. With the girl training Mo called Dove, and that woman from Padre throwing her weight around is that Shrike?
Shrike.
And smiley face. No more crying from Mo, as Deanna Patterson also stated. But now we get the young angst fittings back and forth by Mo and Ren. She's like, see what I did there? Question mark.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
And finishing up with Ivan from Minnesota, he goes, no filters for the most part. This season visually looks great, and the walkers are always on point. Also, it's the final season of Fear. Thank goodness.
Oh, gosh, where is it? Oh, yeah.
And as appropriate as that is, it's almost the kids' show Redux.
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Well, that was all of our awesome sauces from our listeners. So let's get into ours. And I have to agree, Baby Mo is no Mo. So now we do have to deal with what Glenn has said, Teen Angst World Beyond Part 2.
Indeed.
Yeah. I would guess, I would agree that the time jump as that would be awesome, as that does put us close in the same time frame as The Walking Dead from everything I've been reading. So that's good. I wonder if we'll get to see any kind of nods for Easter eggs or something like that. I doubt it, not from the show. But even though they knocked it down, we know the showrunners, not necessarily for the show, but just for the world and the general world of The Walking Dead, that this still opens the door that, hey, things are all kind of lined up again, so people could start showing up if they choose to. And then my last, I guess, awesome sauce was Madison with their cool use of the sledgehammer of doom to your ankles. And then did I see that right, that Teen Mo was using it or something like that at the end after she got her confidence?
Because remember, when she was in the dungeon, she was trying to figure out how to use it. Okay. I was trying to go back. Oh, I didn't. I was trying to go back to remember, like, was she holding that or was it still like some kind of staff and she was just doing kind of the same moves? But if she's got the sledgehammer. It was close, but there was a point where she was trying to use the sledgehammer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then that obviously probably is some kind of, foreshadowing of new skill set.
Could be.
All right, LT, what did you have for your awesomes?
Well, I wanted to kick it off by saying the first little bits of showing, Teen Mo reminded me of that scene when they did the time jump on Walking Dead and you got to see, preteen teen Judith.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It was kind of that same sort of vibe to me, which I pretty much figured out that was Mo from the beginning. And then I was going, okay, the wheels start turning. I'm going, okay, well, if it's no longer Baby Mo, if it's Teen Mo, that means that time has passed. Mm-hmm. So that kind of made sense. I definitely like the change of scenery. I like the fact that they were in the swampland. So you got to see swampy walkers and all the things that come to pass when you have swampy walkers. And you had boats. So it was to go from what we have had, even though the river runs by our favorite retail establishment in the apocalypse, for the most part, all the Texas stuff was, not so swampy. Mm-hmm. So it was good to see, new season, transition to scenery. We know that the show was being filmed down in Savannah. Mm-hmm. So the topography is a little different. The foliage is a little different. So, anything to kind of, pique your interest in what's going on. And I think my last awesome was that so Padre is obviously a thing. And from the stuff that we saw, even though they will come back up, I promise you, obviously Padre has stuff and things and buildings and people. And, they've obviously not fallen into the paths of so many other survival societies that we've seen in the show, that they seem to be doing pretty well, that they've got people and groceries and guns and boats that actually have, gasoline or alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So it was nice to actually get something after all the ghost chasing we were doing for Padre last season, to actually see what it is, or at least start to see what it is.
Yeah. No, I agree. That was at least something that they, we didn't have to sit there and wait another episode to be all like, what's this Padre?
Because I mean, come on, Kyle. They drug us around with that freaking notebook.
I know.
And, the Alicia, I'm going to find it. I'm not going to find it. I'm going to find it. I'm not going to find it. And then her, live/dead senatorial aide.
Yeah.
Air quote boyfriend. So, they teased us a lot with it. And so I expect that they need to, pay that off a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's what, definitely, I agree. It was, they slung us through the mud for so long, and it's like, okay, cool, we got to see, and it's like, oh yeah, so Padre Island is a Padre Island. Like literally.
Wherever Padre actually is. But
exactly. Well, hey, gotta take the good for what we can.
Yep.
All right. Well, then that takes us into our weak sauce.
You're worthless and weak.
Okay. So for our weak sauce, we have Ivan from Minnesota, who says everything else. The writing still sucks, and this season opener was a drag. People, make up your minds. So much flip-flopping. Indeed, sir. Indeed. And in fact, I'm going to talk about that in just a few moments.
Sweet. All right. Well, then I'll go into my weak sauce. I thought Morgan, he seemed to have lost his nerve. I felt like he had so many chances to take Madison out if he wanted to, but yeah, it's like he just wouldn't or couldn't stand up to her. They literally were like he had a gun to her head, and then she I don't know, whatever, not goes boo, and he fell over, and she took the gun or whatever. And it's like during the swamp, it's like there were so many times if he was truly wanting to get rid of her or get away from her or take back control of her, he totally could have. And it was this weird just play back and forth through the whole episode of everybody being so freaking weak.
Mm-hmm.
And then Madison, I don't know, it keeps hitting me where it's I just don't she just doesn't fit in the show at all. I don't even get why she's there. Obvious reasons, because the showrunners wanted to pump up some excitement, and then hopefully Kim Dixon
dollar bill,
right? And I hope Kim Dixon got paid for it very well. But none of it makes sense to me, because it's like with Alicia and Nick and Travis, rest in peace, are gone. To me, none of the reason that she is there, just there's nothing there. I don't know. I could go on, and I'm losing words, because I'm just it's stupid and I don't like it. And then yes, I'm Padre. So after all this hullabaloo that we went through, they're basically the CRM of the South. And I was calling them the kitty snatcher toy soldiers with a grudge against parental units of the apocalypse. That's all I could gather in this episode. That's what Padre is. All right, that's enough. You go.
And of course, now it's time for a word from our sponsor. Now available at Bill's store, Morgan's Plot Waffles. You've wondered what's going on. Well, this season, it's Morgan's Plot Waffles. You don't know what flavor they are till you pop them in your mouth. They're not labeled, so they might be blueberry. They might be cranberry. They might be buttermilk. You just don't know, because they're Morgan's Plot Waffles. Available at Bill's store, the best the best plot-driven equipped store in the apocalypse.
Oh goodness!
If the story says you need it, we've got it.
We've got it. Waffles.
And I thought that hit me because, just like you said a minute ago, so they brought Madison back, and basically she just like did the Freaky Friday switch with Morgan, because all of a sudden, Morgan is the one that's not sure about anything, and Morgan's the one that's changing his mind and not firm about anything, and Madison's the one that's going, we've got to run away, we've got to take her, we've got to go, we've got to do our stuff.
Yeah.
Because I would say, Mr. Peabody, let's set the way back to the ballpark. Because this reminds me of old pre-fire Madison, because Madison was the one who was, we've got to stay the course. We've got to keep everybody together. We've got to, and now, she's doing the Morgan thing when Morgan's doing what she did.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because you think about Morgan versus Jenny. Morgan was like, I want to do what's best for my people. I want to get them out. I want to establish my own thing. I don't want to be under your control because you're mean. And now he's doing we've got to stay with the group. We can't go out on our own. This is what's best for you. And I'm like, oh, come on. I mean, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just like going, really? Is that what we're down to after all this?
Mm-hmm.
After he worked so hard, I've got to find my baby. I've got to find my baby. You took my baby. I've got to find my baby. And now he's like, you need to stay with them. You need to stay with them. They can protect you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, Morgan.
Oh, I like there were signs that I know that Glennis and some other people will mention, so maybe we'll get to it like in our feedback. But yeah, there are signs of like, okay, since that 7 year before that he gave up, Mo, that, he went through some stuff, but it's still like, it's just, they're forcing this on us to be like, oh, this is the dynamic. And then, I've said it in the past where it's like, oh, we still have more to see. I think even like next episode, we'll see Luciana and Daniel, and some, stuff.
But,
so
I mean, forcing stuff on us. I mean, come on, Kyle.
Yeah, I know.
How many times have we seen Morgan, change gears? I mean, he's had more personality shifts over his tenure in the Walking Dead universe than, I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
I've lost my good analogy, but I'm just saying he's always changing gears.
Yeah. Well,
and this is just a reversion back to, what, post-terminus Morgan.
Yeah, because that's
it's just making my head hurt, man.
Yeah. Well, let's
because and now I feel bad for all the times that I've took up for Morgan, and then they write him like this, and I'm going, dude, really?
Yeah,
really.
Oh,
and I'll say just what you said again, that obviously either we don't know something that's going to happen, or they must have dangled some kind of carrot in front of Kim Dickens to get her to come back.
Yeah. That's all I can guess, because
I'm still trying to figure out why.
Mm-hmm.
Other than, everybody was going, oh, it wouldn't have been like this if you'd brought Madison, if you kept Madison. Yeah, Morgan ruined the show. Oh, Madison. Well, now you got Madison, and it's not any better.
Right. So. Which is why they're ending it.
Yep.
Well, all right. Well, let's move on then, because that leads us into our what sauce.
What?
Didn't have any watts from our listeners, so I'll just go into mine. And so this was, I mean, there's a lot of watts because, there's the one where it's like Mo Jr. goes down into the Madison cellar, and then I'm just kind of like, how does she get down there? And then how does Madison have no guards around her? And then, it was kind of like Old World Beyond, where it's like, oh, here's this really like secure, like, CRM, whatever, headquarters, but then there's like no guards anywhere and everybody seems to be able to walk wherever they want, like no big deal, like no one's checking up on them. But it put it in my mind a question though, as just like, so there's like the story that's going around with all the Padre citizens that like Madison killed almost all of their guards, or a big chunk of them, and then she almost killed Padre, which again, we don't know if Padre is actually a person. Or do we? I mean, it seems like
no. Padre is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's the voice over this, this intercom, but
right.
But yeah, but then but they talk about Padre as being like a thing or person, or whatever. I guess it's their world. But like, so I'm kind of like, how big is this organization then? Because if she was like, if that's the story, then I'm like, are we just dealing with like a little handful of people? And then they're just stealing all the kids and training them. But, I don't know. It just put in that question. I was like, what? It's like, so is this just like a mini CRM, basically?
Yeah. Or my point was, so is Madison just the Padre boogeyman?
Yeah.
Is that they're going, the woman in the basement killed all those guards. You need to be careful or the woman in the basement will come get you.
Get you, yeah.
The woman in the basement is coming for you, Kyle.
Well, then
she's lurking in the shadows.
Yeah. But then that's the other what, too, was that, okay, so Mo Jr. I guess when she, like, Madison breaks through and grabs her and, like, they takes those two guards out. To escape, but then obviously she escaped the whole entire compound, like with no trouble, stole a boat with no trouble, got away. Like, it was kind of like, okay, sure. Like, I don't know. It was just a very, like, that seemed very easy for someone who seems to be so dangerous.
Right. And for me, it's like, so there's no internal security.
Apparently not.
If you can sneak inside, then all you have to do is your solid snake and put your box on and creep around inside the perimeter, and no one will notice.
Oh, that's too
But
funny.
yeah, but that one scene where Teen Mo was dragging the cart, she was doing like her delivery service.
Yeah.
Doing these suspicious drive-by of all the classes and all the other stuff that was going on, so you kind of saw what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
There seemed to be a good number of people, and it still goes back to, if the woman in the basement is so dangerous, then how come no one is paying attention if she's there or not?
Right, because she seemed to have really no problem for baby Mo to go down there and visit her, and then her...
No, that's... Teen Mo.
Oh, Teen Mo. Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. Mo. Just Mo.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's all I could even come up with.
Well, other than starting off with my Madison is Baba Yaga. She's like the Johnette Wick for them. Is it just me? And I can't think of the actress's name in the show, but to me, Shrike looks like a young Lori Petty in Tank Girl.
Yeah.
It's just the facial structures and the short hair. And I was going, all she needs is a pair of goggles.
Yeah.
And I said, this, but it's just like, she very much reminded me of young Lori Petty. And of course, my next part that has to go in the hot sauce is like, okay, where are we? We're in the swamp. So what is her choice of style for traipsing around in the swamp? A trench coat. Not the best tactical choice for being up to your giblets in swamp water.
It's fashion.
Yeah, I know. I understand. It's a fashion statement. But still, putting my practical hat on, trench coats in Texas, okay. Trench coats in Louisiana in the swamp? No bueno. Because then you're going to be dealing with not only being in the swampy water, but you're going to have wet coat from your waist to your ankles. One other thing I'm going to hot sauce about is just one of those obscurely technical things. So that we saw the guy sitting at the bench with the single stage reloading press, carefully making one rifle round at a time. Now, for many of you who are not into reloading, you might not know that there's such a thing called a semi-progressive or a progressive press. I happen to own a progressive press, and basically it has a lot more things attached to it, but basically you pull the handle, you put the brass in, and it pops out bullets. Because the single stage press, you have a fired casing. So you have to punch the old primer out, clean the case, put a new primer in, resize the case, put powder in the case, put the bullet in the case, seat the bullet, and then crimp the bullet. Now, if you had a progressive press, it does all that as the case travels around in a circle. It starts off empty on one side and spits out, working projectile cartridge on the other end. And it just seems to me that if you're going to be in a high production environment, that a single stage press is like lots of work for not much good at the end. Now, before anybody else that knows what they're talking about takes me to task, I understand if you have a single stage press and you're trying to load precision ammo or something for long range precision or something snipery, I understand that you want to do one at a time and make sure that your powder charge is just so, and that the bullet is seated to the proper depth and everything's perfect and identical. But if you're talking about bullets that are, to whom it may concern or general delivery, then it just takes a long time to do that. And just to put on the editorial hat one more time, yes, I have loaded over 2,000 rounds with a single stage press. It's no fun. Can be done, but it just takes a long time and it's not much fun. And I guess my last thing for my hot sauce is, so we're into the whole child soldier Spartan Padre thing. So basically we're kidnapping kids and we're conditioning them to be, fearsome fighters and grow up indoctrinated into the Padre way of life, so that we will continue the Padre way of life, so that they will go out and steal kids of somebody else. And, it just seemed very much like the beginning of 300 to me. Very much a stylized Spartan-y sort of, we're going to make our kids hard and, fighters so they can survive in this horrific place. And I was just kind of going, okay, so that's why they're stealing kids. I just for all the build up of the kid snatchers, then this is not quite,
Right.
We were close to it, but I kind of wanted, the old Bruce Lee Kung Fu movie where everybody's like standing in a line and there's like, 30 or 40 guys doing kata,
Oh yeah.
The what was it in Austin Powers? The training our secret army montage. Yeah, I just something.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're going to play this out, but I'm kind of going, okay, so this is where we're going with all this.
Yeah. There's it's just weird. Like I even said, it's just like, okay, what, it's like, what's their purpose? They did talk about something like, was it a dove or whatever was like, oh, I've got to prepare going to the mainland. And so she was like, I'm cramming for my survival or skills or whatever. So it's kind of like, okay, what is what is that mission then outside the walls?
Right. And I'm wondering if it's going to be, okay, here's your backpack and your stick. We're going to send you out here for 20 days and we'll be back on, on Thursday in 2 weeks. If you're not here, we won't wait.
But again, to what
something.
end? Why? What's that make them? Oh, okay, cool. They can survive.
To prove your skills.
No.
So that you can become a fully vested member of Padre.
Get the badge. It's like,
yes. It's like you come back or with whatever bad analogy you want to do, they have to come back with the feather or the egg or, the walker head or whatever. This is your quest to become a man. Or a woman or whatever.
Yeah.
You have to go to the mainland.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I guess we will.
Yeah.
I'm just, you must go into the ruins of Baton Rouge and you must come back.
With the golden callus of
you must come
Krispy
back
Kremes.
You must come back with the string of Mardi Gras beads from the store on 3rd and Pomeroy. I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, then that takes us into our sad and sauce.
Aww. And we got one bit of sad sauce. It's from Ivan from Minnesota, who says, the poor actors on this show are giving it their all, and they're great, but they really don't have much to work with, sadly. And I mean, come on, we've said that before.
Right. They're sticking with it because they're getting paid.
They're going to ride that train till there ain't no train to ride.
Left. Yeah.
Because, I mean, we said the same thing about Garrett Dillahunt.
Yeah.
That we loved John Dory. John Dory was a great character. He was just tragically and underutilized.
Yeah. And yeah. John Dory was awesome. And then it just was wafts here and there. And then they got rid of him. And it was like, no. Oh, goodness. Oh, well. All right. Well, thank you, Ivan. I only had kind of one sad sauce, and I kind of was writing this a little bit jokingly, but it was like, I guess if this is what they want us to believe, is that Morgan had a clear relapse. So that's sad because he was doing good for so long, but apparently that's where they're going with it.
Yep. And my sad sauce was Fear the Walking Dead hates couples. Because maybe it was just me, but just that scene with Grace and Morgan, it kind of made me sad. Because you could tell that they're both trying to do what they're supposed to do, and they're trying to look after Mo and send her back to Padre. But then it's like just the, tension between the two of them. And I'm going, what happened to the carousel, Morgan? You two were so happy at the mall, and now like this.
Yeah.
It just was not good, man.
Oh,
not good at all.
So mean to us. Alrighty. Well, then that leads us into our feedback.
We can talk about it. Done talking. Time to listen.
Okay. So Ivan from Minnesota said the whole Padre storyline is just weird, and I'm just here to see the King County stuff. Plus, I've made it this far. I might as well finish. It's like, finish strong, my brother. Finish strong. We're here to the end.
Exactly. All right. Deanna from Detroit, she said, overall, okay episode. Not much improvement from last season, but like Ivan said, might as well finish it off. And then she said, shrug, shrug, shrug.
Yep. And of course, we have Glennis from Toronto, who says, Morgan, Madison, and Mo flip-flopping like a bird with a broken wing between working together and then against each other. It's sad that Morgan had scribbled graffiti on the wall of Jenny and Dwayne, similar to writing on the wall in The Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 12, Clear, shows his mental and emotional state after having to send Mo off to Padre, which takes him right back to his original losses suffered. Why is Morgan, Nightingale, and Gracie, Heron, separated and working for Padre and so icy towards each other? That seems to go against everything they've stood for in the past. Mm-hmm. So Mo, Wren, resolved her PTSD and now she's a mean fighting machine like the Wrens in World War II. No more mental freezes for her, and she'll show Dove who's the boss. So, all in all, a very messy Fear the Walking Dead episode. We'll have to wait and see if Fear the Walking Dead fledges in the next couple of episodes and flies off in formation for the summer migration. And thank you, Glennis, for more bird.
That's so good, though. Oh, Glennis. Oh, yeah. It's just, well, hey, we're all in this together. So
yes, we are. We're gonna stick together.
Yeah. And then on a side note, though, just seeing the little promo for Dead Island really made me excited that, okay, after 6
and it was awesome.
Yeah. So I'm excited. And that's coming up after, the next 5 weeks.
It is.
After Fear takes a little mid-season break. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for your lovely feedback. Did you want to have anything else to say for feedback?
No, I think I've said all I need to say. I think the only wrap-up thing I was going to throw in is, so they've started off. We've got, half a season now, and then they're probably going to do the other half this fall or later this summer. So
later this summer, I think.
The clock is ticking, kids. Yeah. Can they stick the landing? Or at least as close to sticking a landing as Fear has ever done? We shall see.
We shall see. All right. Well, I just wanted to bring up that. So normally we would go into our news, ratings, and info. The ratings, I am going to hold off until probably the mid-season finale, and then that way we can kind of go over just the whole of the first half, and then kind of see where things go. But just for time and just time to just kind of move on with the show. News, I didn't really have anything. We all know that Dead Island's coming after the mid-season break of Fear. That I'm super excited about. I haven't really been too following up on the news. I've been so busy, but I'll try to do better and see if there's anything that is new and newsworthy, we'll report it here. So other than that, LT,
I was going to say, I have watched the trailer. I have nitpicked the trailer, and I think we might talk about that in depth later. But I think that if they were hedging their bets with Fear, I think that they're gonna put all their cards on the table with Dead Island. I think it's gonna be. Yeah. I think it's gonna be big.
Yep, that's how I feel too. Sweet. All right, LT, you want to tell people how to interact with us?
I do. We want to encourage you to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. That's @WalkingDeadTTM. To submit your theories and feedback, most people post in our designated episode thread of our Facebook group. That's facebook.com/groups/WalkingDeadTTM. You can send us some email at walkingdead@talkthroughmedia.com. You can use the feedback forum at the webpage, which is talkthroughmedia.com/feedback. If you'd like to leave us some voicemail, you can call area code 216-232-6146. Remember that all of our new episodes come out on YouTube. Just search for Talk Through Media and remember to subscribe and click that bell to get notified when we have new videos. We want you to like and review the Talk Through Media Facebook page at facebook.com/talkthroughmedia. Of course, the best way that you can support us is through our Patreon. That's www.patreon.com/WalkingDeadTalkThrough. We want to thank our Patreon supporters, Renee Murray, Deanna Patterson, me, and Kyle McAdams. And remember that one of the perks of Patreon is that you will get an early version of this episode. Remember to subscribe to us in Apple Podcasts or the podcast client of your choice. While you're there, if you can, give us a rating or review. You can also leave us a review at podchaser.com. You can rate individual episodes or the whole podcast. Remember to share our posts on Facebook and Twitter when we post them, or tell a friend. Word of mouth is the best way to get us new listeners. And on that regard, what else is going on Talk Through Media? Well, it's been a rough winter, kids. However, we are intending to come back swinging, so watch this space for more podcasting. And of course, you can pick up on Rebinge Deep Space Nine with James and Kim. They are still going strong. I think they're soon to be finished with Deep Space Nine, and the rumor is they may be starting on another series before too much longer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hopefully, Lord willing and the creek don't rise, we'll be back for Strange New Worlds and back for Star Trek Lower Decks.
Yep.
When you can hear Kyle and I with some Brian talking about our favorite animated Star Trek episodes.
Yep. And that will be a good time for all.
Yes, it will. So now, next week on Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 2 is titled Blue Jay, written by Andrew Chambliss and Ian Goldberg, and directed by Heather Caparello. I tried to find the description. For some reason, I couldn't see the schedule on YouTube TV yet, so that I do not have. But we'll all just be in anticipation to something. I do think we're going to see Luciana and Daniel. That's what I've kind of seen online. So,
with more bird puns.
Yes, I'm sure. Maybe they have bird call names. All right. Well, so until next time, I'm Kyle.
And I'm LT.
And this is Fear the Walking Dead Talk Through. Good night, everyone.
Good night.